These people can be very, very bright. So the issue is not necessarily a lack of intelligence.
It's not about being educated or uneducated or smart or dumb. It really isn't.
I think it's sometimes miseducation. I think somebody can be educated in such a way that they are educated to distrust authority on a regular basis, which kind of poisons the well up and down the line.
However, sometimes a question like this is helpful. What would be the type of evidence that would make you review your position? Is there any kind of test?
I started a channel called Globebusters. Really the goal was at the beginning was I wanted to be shown proof that the Earth was a ball because I was shocked to not find evidence. And then I was like, Bob, do you want to do like a weekly show?
This is where I broadcast the Globebusters show from. We do our show once a week, every Sunday. We are a grassroots group of engineers and scientists. We have done several experiments that show the Earth is flat.
I mean, I think that the scientific method is the best way to get to the truth. And I just want to feel comfortable in things that I believe.
The difference between being skeptical about something and being in denial is very subtle but very important, right? Someone who is skeptical is willing to test their own hypothesis, their own assumptions. They are actually looking for the truth, even if it turns out that they were wrong.
Recently, we carried out an experiment to test the rotation to the Earth. If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000.
You start at point A, and then you do some kind of process of collecting evidence, of thinking, or whatever you want, and you end up at a conclusion, point B, that you believe is true, okay? Science is the arrow. That's all science is the arrow. Science is a process to get to conclusions.
But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15-degree-per-hour drift. Now, obviously we were taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem, right?
But there's a whole other way to think, which is that you start at B. You start at the conclusion, and you say, I have to find evidence that shows that this is true.
You're not looking for data to try to prove you wrong or refine your position, right? You're trying to look for all the data that proves you right.
You'll cherry pick until you find evidence that appears to be an arrow, a logical arrow to your dogma.
We obviously were not willing to accept that, and so we started looking for ways to disprove that it was actually registering the motion of the Earth and that it in fact was registering the motion of the sky. So the next thing that we set out to do was to encase the fiber optic gyro in what's called a zero Gauss chamber to see if we could actually shield the energies being generated by the heaven. And we were unsuccessful with that, unfortunately. So the next thing that we're going to try is encasing the entire apparatus in bismuth. If everything works well, I'd like to release it at the conference.
If there's not anything that you can say, anything you can show me that could make me believe, oh, I guess I'm wrong, it's not falsifiable anymore. It doesn't make any sense for a scientist to argue with that kind of thinking. There's no point.
We have been able to prove other aspects of it, and so it's not unreasonable then for us to continue claiming that the Earth is flat.
What do you think?
Popcorn's great.
Why am I in Houston? To court Patricia Steer, no. When she was up in Seattle, we went to the Seattle Museum of Flight just to go into enemy territory. It has a sizable space exhibit. So we did a live stream and it went very well and no controversy. We weren't thrown out or anything. And we thought there's one down in Houston. Houston Space Center It's like, all right, fly down.
We're going to NASA to get indoctrinated. I'm scared. Hold me.
Prepare to keep left.
So why didn't you go with the male voice?
So I don't want men telling me what to do.
Your destination is too far away.
Your destination is not worth going to.
You can't get there from here.
Please make alternative choice.
Do you even know how to drive this vehicle?
We're so close to the enemy, I can smell their breath. Hello.
I love the music in the background.
Okay.
God bless America.
We're ready to go live once I hit the go live button. It might take a while because we may have a bad connection.
We're live.
Hello, we're here. It's Patricia Steer and Mark Sargent, and we
Hello.
are in Houston, Texas, at the Houston Space Center.
This museum that we are in will probably be a mix of real and fake. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be mostly fake. You've got Angry Birds in space
Right.
endorsing this. NASA's now taking co-sponsors.
It doesn't even really look like the moon.
No, it doesn't.
This is what NASA is reduced to. Their costume astronaut suit with a broken watch strap. Okay, I think we're winning, people.
Wow.
Mark's going into space. At least this is free.
There's the curvature of the Earth. I've been brainwashed. And I keep hitting this button for splashdown sequence and nothing happens.
Capsule introduction.
Start. Yeah.
So this isn't working.
It's not even working.
So there's a broken watch on one of the astronauts. There's this broken.
Yeah, this is broken.
It
The
costs-
Orion simulator is broken.
It costs about $30 to get in per person, give or take. Everything is run down.
Everything's worn.
Everything is kind of broken. Chris Pontius could teach this place how to make things. Highlight of the whole thing.
Look, Ma, I'm an astronaut.
You guys look.
I can understand why this part
It
is
looks like
free.
it's a barn. Empty.
There's one car in the lot.
You know what? That's not the door to enter. Come on.
I'm gonna try it.
Of course. It's gonna try it.
There's no way.
It opened.
This is it.
This is the entry.
This is the
Folks.
entry.
Whoa. Okay, this is impressive because of magnitude of size. Wait. We're the only ones here. Does everyone see how big this is? We're the only ones here. I'm going to say something that's never been uttered in any NASA facility ever.
Oh, I can't wait.
The Earth is flat!
And it echoed. That was brilliant. What you're looking at is part of the greatest science fiction story ever told. What if mainstream science figured out that the world was not a globe anymore? So you create a rocket program to take the picture, to even fake the picture. They had to discontinue it before the technology, way before the internet was created, way before HD technology was created. You make it seem like it's just not that big a deal.
So someone just made that?
They took.
Yeah, from yesterday. And honestly, you throw the General Inception soundtrack on anything, it makes it sound way better.
Mark Sargent.
God.
Can I have it?
Yeah, I know. This is the one that NASA gets to come at me for.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Welcome to episode number 186 of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. I'm Patricia Steer.
And I'm Mark Sargent.
Laura Lawson asked, have you ever been out somewhere and someone recognized you by your voice, Mark or Patricia? For me, the answer is absolutely not.
Me, on the other hand, yes.
Really?
Oh my God.
I don't think that we're celebrities. I think that people who are looking into Flat Earth want to get away from that culture.
No, it's good. No, it's a safe answer. I'm going to take it a little different direction. I don't think I'm a celebrity, but yet when I go do public functions, I run into people that do the deer in the headlights. She's just staring at me, and I go, "What?" She goes, "You're Mark Sargent." I go, "Yeah." She goes, "I didn't know." I was like, "Oh, seriously?" And she was, yeah, and she had that whole
That
thing.
must be a very pleasing feeling because you've affected her life. Being on with me doing The Secret Show has made your face more recognizable. And being on with you on Strange World was sort of a way that people got to know me a long time ago. So we've been having a lovely symbiotic relationship. Like a whale that has those smaller fish on it that like eats all the algae in the gills.
Boy, I better be the whale in this story. The international conference is only about, 6 weeks away. So the first day, she's going to be on a panel, and then I am doing a keynote speaking event. And then the second day, the last event, really the last event of the conference, Patricia and I are going to be hosting the video awards show. But I don't want to go, can I just stay?
You had a nice time, right?
I did have a nice time.
Yeah, I had a great time too. It was pretty fun.
A really nice time.
At a conference in Raleigh, we want to have proof there's no curvature. And if we can do that, it's game over. But the rotation is not looking good at this point. We don't want to blow this, you know?
Right.
And we've got $20,000 in this freaking gyro. But yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad. So what I just told you is confidential.
Okay, I won't say.
Not any one single experiment proves anything conclusively. That's why we're building a preponderance of evidence.
I think there's a few more experiments we could do with lasers and leveling. I think Jaren's working on a great experiment now that's going to help with all that.
What we're going to be doing is an experiment at Victoria Canal in Holt, California. It's a 3.88 mile stretch. We're going to actually have set up 3 posts, one at the start, one at the end, and one in the middle. And then we're going to shoot a laser from the first post and see where it crosses that first post. So let's say it's 8 feet, and then get it to cross the same point at the far end. And when we can confirm that both are passing the exact same spot, then somebody will tell us what the middle's at. If the middle's at 8 feet, it's flat. And if it comes back that it's only 5.5 feet, then yeah, I mean, that means that the Earth has curvature.
That's a cool experiment, actually, just in general. It's interesting. So I'm trying to think if there's a laser is just going straight. Yeah, they're in trouble here.
So like a laser, like for your cat, I think would be 5 or even less milliwatts. So this is 3,000 milliwatts. The beam will grow as it gets further. And if you put the expander on, it's supposed to get smaller. The most surprising thing I've learned is how hard experiments are. There's so many things that go wrong. I think I didn't give enough credit to people who do experiments.
Usually they have a way to say, well, I don't believe that evidence. But it's rare that you have something which is performed by them and it's just so obvious. There's just no other way to look at it. So I'm curious to see what happens. It's really going to be interesting, actually, like how they handle it. Yeah.
We as flat earthers feel that we have several smoking guns. Several. There's no curve, but we don't want to present it yet. We want to have the whole package. Between the laser and the fiber optic gyro, this technology is going to kill the ball. They would like us to believe that the ball Earth has been proven for a long, long time, but this debate has raged on for centuries.
Here in the U.S., millions are getting ready for a spectacular dance between the sun and moon.
Today's eclipse is a reminder of our place in the solar system, so I hope you're sitting down for this. Despite loads of irrefutable proof, some people still believe the Earth is flat.
There's this big war right now. Does the eclipse disprove flat Earth? That's the big hot debate. In fact, the Philadelphia VOSE, a newspaper, just did their thing, and they contacted me and then Bob from Globebusters. What they don't know is that the guy from the Philly VOSE is also, one of ours.
No, I'm not a secret flat earther.
That line from Spectre, from James Bond, he goes, the thing you should know about us is we have people everywhere.
I might get business cards made up with that now.
If you were here right now, where we are on Whidbey Island, you would still have 93% of the eclipse. To get that extra 7%, we got to drive 3 hours and face a mob of Woodstock proportions. Is that worth it? No, not in my opinion, but we're going to be representing and putting the focus in. All we have to do is get the attention of people.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
All right.
Additional delays are expected due to eclipse-related traffic.
Oh, not yet, not yet. Come on. I bet that's it. Let's take a look. You want my surreal moment of the day? Here it is. 2 years after I make Flat Earth Clues, here we are on one of the biggest freeways in the United States, on the biggest eclipse in 100 years. We're flashing Flat Earth messages. And I had nothing to do with it. This was done by a completely different Flat Earth chapter, and the fact that I'm saying Flat Earth chapter like it's a thing is amazing. I love Flat Earth. I love them. I found out the perfect thing for you to film. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round. I'm here to tell you a tale of the globe. Oh, it's not a happy story, my friends. This isn't even the biggest one I've seen. The biggest one I've ever seen is down in Raleigh at the National Convention. Go figure. We didn't even pick the city for that. They start launching nukes straight up in 1958. After the third shot, they form NASA. The media has helped us because they've said, what do flat earthers think about the eclipse? It's great because people want to know. They're curious. Like, what do they think? It's just another part of the firmament, the dome, the display system.
What are your takes then about the moons of Jupiter?
Same thing. I caught his smile when I was talking about the planetarium part, and he wasn't buying it. It's in his head. He may research it, may not. That's what the billboard's for. We're just trying to put the seeds in people's heads. Go to Flat Earth Clues, and any one of those videos in the description, you'll see a link that says Join the Flat Earth Army. Right now, Bob from Globebusters is launching a weather balloon as we speak. They're hoping to see the eclipse from 100,000 feet.
And there it goes.
Safe for direct solar viewing. My eyes. Oh yeah, we're getting close now. Here it comes. Totally worth it. Worth it. Worth every second of it. So glad I'm here.
How was the eclipse itself? Did you have a feeling? Was there anything in the air when it happened? Anything weird?
It's like seeing like a special effect in a movie that really catches you off guard. It appeared that the sun is self-eclipsing, that there was no three-dimensional object that was moving in front of the sun. And that's what we've been thinking about the moon. So when I saw this, it's like, oh yeah, of course that's what it's doing.
New York Times, Seattle Times. There it is. This morning, the South Whitby Record ran a front-page story on the flat Earth. South Whitby grad Mark Sargent has been known for many things. Once it was for homemade fireworks. Another time, he was the digital pinball champion of the world. Today, he is a leading figure of the flat Earth movement. Yes, he really believes the Earth is a disc. Then on the inside cover, you actually have the editor's column, and he only wrote one thing this week called "The World is Not Flat, the News Isn't Fake." I met with a conspiracy theorist this week, a bona fide flat earther. He's utterly and unequivocally wrong. So
Why promote a theory the vast majority of people find ridiculous?
I haven't told a lot of people that this is what Mark is into, because I'm thinking they're just going to think we're screwy.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, do you agree?
That the Earth is flat?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to see that it is proven that it is not flat. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Well...
Good answer. I didn't even coach her on that one.
No, and I will tell you, since we've done this for what, 3 years? Two and a half years.
Not even.
And my prayer has been continually that truth will be revealed.
All of us have that tendency to want to connect to people around things that make us unique. One thing we know is that human beings feel very threatened when we feel that identity being taken away.
Joining the club often comes as a relief because they can finally identify with other like-minded people. For the first time, they're not different and no longer alone.
Okay, I got something for you to sign.
Yeah.
Stay flat, something like that.
Defacing a harmless globe, I was proud to do it. I'm excited to be a part of it. This is a flat Earth meetup, and they flew me down for this because I'm infamous. Because I'm real. That's what everyone said. You know, they want to shake my hand and make sure that they touch me. That sort of thing. Like it's like, oh yeah, he's a real guy. He's not just a voice on a video.
Alright, so welcome to the VOSE. You're here for an Astronomy on Tap. So what this is, it's a monthly outreach event. We've got 2 astronomy talks related to something that's going on in research, something that's going on at JPL, something that's been in the news. Lastly, but not leastly, we have an extra large NASA swag t-shirt.
Let's see some cool Bob Ross. Yep, that's wise.
So I'm going to talk tonight about my favorite now dead spaceship, Cassini.
I stayed up all night to watch the last data transmissions come in. I was sitting there with my dogs looking at me like, why is the light still on? Why are we still awake?
I'm Mark Sargent.
Oh God. Sargent.
So Lamar Glover is going to talk about dismantling the scientific superiority complex.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? So I'm going to talk about flat earthers real quick. Right?
The problem I see is actually not from the side of the conspiracy theorists. It is actually from our side, from the side of science. Very often it's difficult not to look down.
I was so frustrated about getting told I was an idiot. So I decided to say, laugh at me all you want, because science is different than the shit they're believing. I've already lost friends and stuff. So I felt so good when I made the shirt.
The friend said, sometimes the only way to change somebody's mind is to shame them. And I say, I don't think that is the last resort ever. This is the same as saying that if a kid doesn't get a particular subject, it's not your fault as their teacher, it is their fault. I do not believe that. It's just that you haven't developed your empathy to be able to see from their point of view where they're getting stuck.
We can't blame it all on people just being delusional or the C word, which is the crazy word. I think a lot of times we say crazy, and it's a scapegoat. It's an umbrella term, right? How many people in here have been called crazy before?
I've shared it with my mother, my daughter, 2 guys who I was dating who didn't want to date me anymore after I told them about my belief in the flat earth.
I have 4 children. My sons are grown. Them and their mother, who's my ex-wife, kind of think Dad's a little gone off his rocker.
I just finalized the divorce. I no longer speak to my parents, my brother, or anybody else other than people that are interested in doing truth research.
The worst case scenarios, you just completely push these individuals at the fringe of society, and then society just lost them.
And you would say to yourself, well, why would you pursue something if you're going to have a falling out with your blood relatives? What's important is truth.
People give you strange looks, that's fine. If you're not hurting them, let them think what you want. They're just asleep, going through life. They're just background noise.
I do find Mark to be a hero, but you're so lovely for doing that for everyone, and it is so touching. But
give me a hug.
It just,
give me a hug.
you're laughing.
I decided just to give it to you. No, you don't have to give me this. Yeah, give me the pin. I've got apparently a swag bag that's happening.
Do you get lots of stuff?
Not as much. No? Not like this.
Truthers, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers. When we leave people behind, we leave bright minds to mutate and stagnate. These folks are potential scientists gone completely wrong. Their natural inquisitive and rejection of norms could be beneficial to science if they were more scientifically literate.
Let's take the metaphor of argument is war. One side wins and the other loses. If my opponent feels he's better than me, that's intolerable to me. So I'll not listen to what he says. Already when he's talking, I'll be planning my counterattack. Another way of thinking about it is, let's go and explore together. And this exploring together takes us to another place than argument.
So every flat earther shouldn't be held with the contempt, but serve as a reminder of a scientist that could have been, someone that fell through the cracks. And we as ambassadors of science are called upon to do more, right? So scientists of varying degrees of professionalism seriously consider becoming a mentor to someone who is coming from a non-traditional point of entry to the sciences.
If you're not willing to engage with them, you can't expect them to change.
You just hope that they will meet you even halfway, but often when you push them to the corner, it takes a lot of effort for them to even move one step towards you.
Those make pretty good waves. Sharon, nice to meet you. Your name? Bob. Could use your help too. We're gonna maybe have you guys do the middle station. We have these panels. We're gonna try the panels instead of, I think, the posts. We're gonna get the leveler right now. See a red line right around where that green is? This way a little bit. To your right. Press it once to turn on, then double press it. Okay, hold on. Keep it right there. Let's say this is the light that you see. You just must where you put it is.
It might be that big, you're saying?
I don't think so. I think it'll be under a foot for sure. And then we're gonna have one of these panels in the middle, and then when we have both ones hitting at the same height, then we'll just move the panel in between. The middle people will. And then wherever it crosses the panel, that's it. Then we're done. Okay, where's the...
We're ready.
I got a big beam, so you're going to see it. I just want to make sure you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it, but it's kind of high. It's high. Yeah.
There?
Or go up a little bit.
Up a little bit. Up a little bit.
There. There? Yeah, just keep it there. Keep it there.
Yeah, right about there looks good. You got it?
I think the beam's going to be too big, though.
We want you to narrow
the beam.
Beam.
Okay.
It's too big for us. It's going to be way too big for them.
Absolutely. Okay. Tell me if the beam gets smaller right now.
That's what we need.
Okay, tell me if it gets smaller. There.
The beam is taking up the whole panel.
I should work on the beam first.
I think you should work on that beam first.
Are the specs on that laser that it should get to that small of a dot at that distance?
With the focuser, yeah, it should be at least less than 4 feet. Okay, I got it on a pretty tight beam, so I'm going to try and find you right now. Okay, I see the light.
Yes, I definitely see that.
There we go.
Same size?
they're all leaving. So.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know.
But we should leave.
You too.
Take 2 hours.
I know.
Home.
I know, but I'm not going to just...
You have to figure out that laser.
Yeah, I know. Bob, I'm going to shoot it, and if you don't see it any smaller, then we're going to have to reassess this. Is it a smaller beam?
No, it's not a smaller beam. Yeah, it's the same. 15 feet wide.
Man. I don't know what to do.
Not today.
You'll come back?
We have to, yeah. And you just got to figure out the way to make it work.
Well, a sellout crowd is expected in North Carolina this weekend for, get this, the Flat Earth International Conference.
There's Patricia.
I'm so excited. It's like Christmas Eve.
Guess you need it. Write it like the dead was it here. Make believe you still got it. Forget it. I remember.
Bring that on Facebook. Like later, I'm on a block right now, 30-day block. Thanks.
Still can't believe all this is really happening. Right on, man. Good flat. You know, there's only a couple people that have the blackout shirts. Of course, I was there.
You're hot potatoes. That's me. This is Hollywood for her.
Well, in a way, for me too.
Are we twinkling? There we go. I drove 1,150 miles yesterday, so...
I traveled from Ireland then to Iceland.
Oh, you came even further.
Hello, Bob. How are you? Hug or handshake or how about both? This room is big. What if I trip when I walk up there? You know, like something like that. I know. Used to the safety of you two.
Hey, is Mark here?
He's busy being Mark Sargent.
Sweet. Look, I got my...
I have one too. I didn't put it on. What does it say?
Well, why would you put it on? It's not fashionable. You changed outfits, obviously.
Hey, pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Hoping we can fill the place.
I think ODD is really regretting. And I told him, I go, the idea of Mark and Patricia as operatives is laughable. I mean, and nothing against you. I'm just
No,
saying, it's so
I get it.
ridiculous. You know,
It's like, come on, man. I still don't believe it.
Hello. Anybody going to the Flat Earth Conference? Okay, first off, they're not at a real Flat Earth Conference. That's more a military play using Hollywood assets, which explains why Dennis Luca, who's playing the character Mark Sargent, owned by Joe Reel or Ralph Reel, if that's his real name, has access to interview people in the Air Force and the military.
So it's like, so you think I'm a guy named Joe or a guy named Dennis?
I said, look, I checked out Mark Sargent. I did the forensic analysis. I'm telling you, what Mark is saying is true.
Now the sad part of this is that a lot of people bought a ticket, and they said there's no refunds. So if I were to put out a video exposing Mark Sargent, well, they keep the money. Now you're probably too scared to go.
It's a lot of people not to come, and I'm like, usually, you know, because they understand they're not going to refund. Right. Money out the window. They're all excited. I was just like, maybe he's out of point. Maybe this is a setup, and maybe we have to be careful.
But I've been saying this for, I don't know, like since this guy showed up.
People say, because of you, I'm not going. Or because of Patricia, I'm not going.
I couldn't believe the amount of people that came to me, and they're just like, I'm in line with him. I'm going to take that stand.
I just let you call me delusional. I let you call me crazy. Why? Because I'm the one who came up with the flat earth.
Cryptos Media proudly presents the first annual Flat Earth International Conference.
This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is a time that we've all been waiting for.
This is now becoming something that cannot be ignored. Unfortunately, some people, didn't attend this year. It's okay. Look, we have our differences. We may not agree with one another, and we can choose to get all wrapped on that, or we can sit here and we can be here and we can grow saying, you know what? We all agree we're not on a spinning ball flying through space. This will continue to grow, this will get bigger, and honestly, change the world.
This one right here was number 2. And then this one's number 33. And then the latest one here is this little simple one. This is number 36.
It is a privilege and an honor to bring out Jaron Campanella.
When this all started, I was looking for the truth, you guys know that, and deep down inside, I think everybody knows that it's flat.
This is called the Flat Earth Rider. This is the front brake right here. We turn the brake on, it lights the crystals up. These are models of the flat Earth. And then the latest one was this map circulating around, showing other continents outside of our world.
This is so life-affirming, and I think that this whole event is going to have a healing effect on the whole flat Earth community.
Well, I really liked that. That was really interesting.
I got like chills from it and was like, yeah.
It's going to be tough to actually see. No, it's the house lights we're going to bring up.
But don't bring up the light. Don't bring up the lights too far. Go time.
Mark Sargent's the guy that kicked this off for me.
For me, it was the second video, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, was the infamous Flat Earth Clues.
I click on that video, and the first words I hear, this is a Reader's Digest version of the Flat Earth theory and some of the more interesting topics.
I hear a lot of things about Mark Sargent, but one thing I can say is that Mark Sargent is one of the hardest workers in Flat Earth.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Love you. And I'm trying not to get emotional here because it's such a great, amazing thing to see everybody. I love the Flat Earth community. That's no lie. I love you, excited person over there. But let me be clear. I am not the father of Flat Earth, all right? All I did was walk up to a door that was already there, point at it, and say, hey, I think there's something very interesting on the other side. Right? And all you crazy people, you had to poke your head inside and take a look around. Now, here we are, 2 years later. You've taken this further than I ever would have hoped. For that, I'd like to give you my deepest and most sincere thank you. So, microphones, questions.
How long do you think it will take for this to be taught alongside the globe Earth?
I think we're almost at the critical mass point, and the media here proves that.
Within the CIA, who actually implanted you within the community? Just kidding.
Who is behind propagating the globalist lie? Is it the US government? Are other governments in collusion?
Yes, yes, and yes. All those things. All of the above. You, go.
I was wondering, how high do you think the dome is?
How old are you?
12.
Good for you. Thank you, by the way, and thank you for coming. Did you come here with your parents? Did you sneak out of school? How'd you get here?
I came here with my parents.
Right on. Where are your parents?
Right over there.
Thank you, guys. And that will seg me into my letter I was going to read you guys. Mark, my grandkids are 12, 10, and 8 years old and are all third-generation flat earthers. You convinced me nearly 2 years ago. I pass it on to my kids, and together we pass it on to my grandchildren.
So flat earthers, pretty innocuous, right?
And people can believe what they want.
It's a little bit funny, even if you don't spend too much time thinking about it.
When their science teacher was telling the kids the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour and goes around the sun, the class erupted, with about a third of the class saying, no, it doesn't.
But the problem is that this isn't a phenomenon restricted to flat earthers.
They try to make other people believe it, and then those people take it a step further and then just kind of, discount all kinds of scientific principles.
Long live flat Earth. Cool.
Thank you.
Hey, very welcome, man.
What is it that you want them to take away?
Question everything. Don't assume anything when it comes to what you're told. If you're wrong about this, what else do you want to, revisit? Evolution? The Big Bang?
It runs the gamut from people that are anti-vaxxers.
Denial of evolution, because it conflicts with the Bible, for example.
And all of a sudden you get people that maybe work in our government that don't believe what 97% of all climate experts say.
And so they're making uninformed or poorly informed decisions. And that affects all of us.
Especially with social media now. There's a lot of information out there. I know YouTube, they'll say YouTube is full of rabbit holes that don't go anywhere.
Right now, everybody's like fake news, fake news.
Fake news, fake news. Yeah, of course.
If you have a growing section of the population that doesn't know how to think critically and doesn't know how to evaluate expert resources, they're going to be very easy to manipulate.
Why not raise the money and do an exploration and find the edge of the earth?
Oh, spoilers. We have acquired funding. It was only a matter of time before we were going to get money, so now the experiments start ramping up.
Go ahead and roll the video.
Since the late 1800s, science has been shifting from discovery to dogma. It's time for the scientific research field to be unencumbered.
Today we announce the formation of Field Engineers Corps, an international group dedicated to true scientific discovery, free of dogmatic agenda.
This is going to be the chance to do our science and present it to the world. We will experimentally show that there's no curvature to the Earth, there is no forward motion to the Earth, as well as the energy that's coming from the stars and the sky. It's rotating around this plane at about 15 degrees per hour.
The less plausible your dogma is, the less it meshes with reality, the larger the alternative reality you're going to have to create. All of existence suddenly is through a different lens. I want to believe this doesn't mesh with reality, so don't change my view, change reality.
I do wonder what the motivation is for it. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
It's their escape. I'm in a room with people that absolutely will not judge me.
So many of you have been through so much pain.
My entire life, I've kind of felt separate, like nothing was quite right.
We never really fit in. We find ourselves to be somewhat isolated. And we want to talk to people about this thing, but nobody wants to talk to us.
In The Truman Show, a big reason why the lead character left when he discovered his entire world was fake was he had nothing to lose. Jim Carrey was inevitably going to leave that place because there was nothing for him inside. Compare that with anyone else. Let's say we'll go to the other end, which would be the mayor of that town. Let's say the mayor of that town got in a sailboat and got out to the edge. The guy's got limos, the guy's got mistresses, he's got money, he's got a pretty cushy life. Does he open the door and face the devil you don't know versus the devil you know? No.
Wouldn't you say, in a sense, though, like you're now the mayor of Flat Earth?
Say you lose faith in this thing. What then happens to my personal relationships? And what's the benefit of me of doing that? Will the mainstream people welcome me back? No, they couldn't care less. But have I now lost all my friends in this community? Yes. So suddenly you're doubly isolated.
If I tried to go, there would be so many people. They would come and say, don't do it. And so I couldn't leave if I wanted to.
It becomes a question of identity. Who am I in this world? And I can define myself through this struggle.
This is somewhat of a battle, more or less between good and evil.
We're actually very special, and we start to realize that there is a purpose to our life.
You're a force to be reckoned with, so we need to take you seriously.
Then that makes you the protagonist. And it's very enticing. Once you get into it, it feels great to be the underdog protagonist in a Disney movie. Everything you do is justified. And when people mock you, well, that's because they're evil. When people try to prove you wrong, when they do prove you wrong, you quickly say, well, there you go. There's the evil. No one's Ursula in their own story.
We are changing the world. We are making history.
This is what you've been waiting for.
You're not alone. You're not this little speck of dust flying through space at incredible velocities. You are the center of the universe, as a matter of fact. You are the star of the show.
I think that what flat earthers can offer us is a way to have 99.9% of people say, well, that's ridiculous. Imagine believing that. And then to turn it around and say, how are you a flat earther? Where are you and your people the protagonist in a Disney movie? Where are you constructing a reality?
Somebody asked me, what if it turned out wrong? What if it was wrong? What if you know, would you feel this sense of guilt if all of a sudden it was proved to be a globe?
You have a backup experiment. If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard, or at 17 feet off the water, the Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're going to hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, you know, it's as... we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting. Interesting there.